Hi, welcome to Midnight Mayhem. What do you guys get when you cross Saw with Cube? You get the 2019 horror movie Escape Room. So before we start talking about the movie, let's go ahead and get into our introductions.
I'm Bobby, and I love horror.
I'm Leo, and I love movies.
And I'm Raymond, the other guy.
And so today we're talking about the Escape Room. You said it came out in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Sony Pictures, right?
Sony Pictures.
Right off the bat, we're going to give you our first initial reactions to the movie before we get into spoilers, and then I'm going to go break into synopsis, and then we'll go ahead and jump into to the full-on spoilers at that point. So first off, would you guys recommend this movie? Just for right off the bat, for me, it was this is like kitty gloves. I would tell my family, my mom to watch. Actually, no, I tell my mom to watch everything. I would tell my nephew to be like, oh yeah, you can check it out. And he's 10, so and same thing with I watched this with my brother who doesn't watch any horror, and he really enjoyed this movie. So for that reason alone, I was like, when I was watching it, I was like, am I being too harsh on this movie? Am I giving it am I just looking at it too much from a horror perspective? Because I was just watching it. Yeah. And I was like, it's really cheesy at times, and it seems really obvious where the story's going and who has trauma and who doesn't. So for me, while I was watching, I was rating it a 6. And then when I got to the actual, by the time I finished it and saw my brother's reaction to it, I was like, all right. He was like, oh, this is an 8 out of 10. I was like, really? Yeah, that's what I said. But I was like, okay, I can see that for someone who doesn't really watch horror or the suspense of the movie.
Sure.
So all right, I gotta get for as a PG-13 horror, as an intro to horror, I feel like it's a solid 8 out of 10. As a veteran horror watcher, it's a 6. It's a 6 out of 10. That
seems generous.
Yeah,
I'll give it a 7 out of 10. And that's generous.
Yeah, it's a good kiddie pool movie where it's if you're just dipping your toes into horror, it's there's nothing crazy that happens in the movie, and there's enough going on where it's okay, I can pay attention to it.
It's fun.
It's PG-13 Saw. That's the way I can describe it.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. When I was watching it, like I said at the beginning, it reminded me of Saw and Cube.
Yeah, and if you know those movies, and that's where I'm going to get into the synopsis, it's basically about 6 strangers who go into an escape room and have to get out, and it becomes a life-threatening escape room. And then each room is based on some form of trauma from the characters, because each character is a survivor, a lone survivor from an incident. That's it. That's the whole movie. It's basically...
Some of them, right?
No, they're all. They all are.
There's
literally a room full of...
I remember that because I was thinking that kid didn't really he didn't strike me as anything important.
I forgot what his was. I think it was carbon monoxide poisoning. Sorry, spoiler.
Oh yeah.
It's if you want to watch it, go watch it. You can check it out from there. But that's it. It's literally just you're in a room, 6 strangers trying to help each other escape, and whether or not you want to be selfish about it. It's literally Saw 4.
I have a question. Have you guys ever done an escape room?
No.
I have no interest in that.
I don't think I would have patience.
I did one.
You did one? Okay.
I did one.
I'll do one with you.
I almost crashed on my way there. That was fun.
Goddamn road rage.
No. It was when the light turns green, you're like, I could make that. And then it just switches to red right away, and you're like, maybe I should change my mind. No, it was
flash before your eyes.
Never mind. I can't make that.
Yeah.
But from here going on, we're going to be jumping into spoilers. So if you want to check it out, go for it. If not, we already gave you a heads up already.
If not, you already clicked on
Actually, did you give your rating? He said 7.
It's a decent kiddie pool horror movie. If you wanted to show someone, if someone was like, oh, I want to watch something scary, and they can't handle it, you're like, oh, here you go. Yeah. And just put that on for them.
But I can see the reason why people will like it, though. Definitely, but
it's
I know exactly what you mean, though. I was watching it, I was like, man, this is
hard to get through sometimes.
I think it was just I think it was just being too harsh on it, honestly. So number wise, what would you put it at?
I'd put it at a 6.
So 6, 7, 6, and then 8 for newcomers. I think a lot of people who don't watch horror will enjoy it. So, all right, so here on spoilers going forward. So right off the bat, was this movie scary?
No.
Not even a little bit.
It had its suspenseful moments.
Was it horror then? What do you consider horror or a thriller? Because I was really on the border.
It's a mix between both. It's a horror thriller.
Yes.
But I would consider it more of suspense. So it's what do they have to do? Are they going to be able to get out?
Right, and that's on top of that. It's if you think that's when you go into an escape room, it's oh, this is a fun game.
How would you know? You never went to an escape room.
I know, but I'm saying it's
did you go for it now? I'll tell you something about the director after.
Yeah, because it's when you go to an escape room, you're just there to have fun. And it's oh, this is cool. We need to escape, but it's a fun thing. But it's what if you go to one, and it's you have to escape or you die? That's scary. but it's like
the idea of like if you found yourself in that situation, it's
Sure,
like,
yeah.
oh, like I'm not smart enough to do a regular escape room. Like,
Sure.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
The I thought it was because when I was watching the special features for this, the director said like he'd never done an escape room. He didn't even know what it was until he basically was doing the movie.
did they just give him the script and he's like, all right, like yeah, I can make this work.
He literally was like, "Oh, what are the kiddies doing?" Like that's what he
Yeah.
said. Word
That's
for
what,
word.
God.
what are all the young kids doing these days?
But I was like, I can. He definitely captured the feel of it. I mean, like based on what I've seen of escape rooms.
yeah,
but,
I mean,
like-
I feel like each room didn't have nearly enough puzzles.
I do. Well, I was like,
It had one main puzzle.
when I
each
found
room.
out there was,
Yeah,
wasn't
and
it,
it
how
didn't
many?
seem like a lot.
It had one main puzzle and then like 3 different key roles of solving that
Was
puzzle.
there 5 or 6 rooms that they went through? 6, right? Because it was one for each person.
So I remember, so it's the waiting room.
The waiting room was the first one.
It's the freezing room.
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
It's the-
technically it's the cabin first. So if you count the cabin as a room, then that would count.
I would count that as one room.
Okay, so cabin,
Yeah, I would
cabin
count it as one
and
room.
winter room together,
Right.
And then there was the 8-ball room.
8-ball room.
which was like the coolest room.
That
And
was-
there was
That was the
the
coolest room.
that was the coolest room. And there was
Um,
the
Then there's the hospital room,
hospital room, and then there's the
Right.
psychedelic room.
psychedelic room, and then the last room was the
Shrinking room.
shrinking room. Oh,
6.
the opening scene. That you guys just reminded me of that. Was that dubbed? It felt when I was listening to it, the audio seemed dubbed. Was that just me?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's ADR, so
I don't know what that
technically
means.
it is.
They had to.
Tell me. You tell me.
ADR is like after they film it, they do like the voice on
But it was, like,
so It
painful.
would be like a dub.
Is that just me?
I know, but it's like sometimes it's really hard to like
Oh, yeah, I know.
with everything going on, all these sounds are picking up. They have to go back
Yeah.
and re-record that scene.
Because I'm assuming that was practical, right? So
Of
the
course, yeah.
shrinking
It was
room.
beautiful.
So like imagine trying to pick up an
Yeah.
audio cue while everything's
So
like
maybe
No,
the
falling
ADR
but
wasn't that
it
good.
was like painfully noticeable for me when I was watching. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, is this really the opening credit?
It's PG-13. I shut my brain off for half this movie.
The actors weren't that great either, so
No, I want to give credit where it's credit's due. Like I feel like he really did. The actor who played Ben, which was the character in the opening scene, really like captures the anxiousness. But like it was just so jarring to hear the audio like play out the way it did.
yeah.
I was like, damn, he's like so loud compared to like. The
And was
thing-
I the only stupid one that I'm like, oh, this guy died, and then like when the movie started, I didn't know it was him until the end. I was like, oh,
No,
this was
I
No,
immediately-
it took me a little while to figure that out.
I immediately knew. I was like, God damn it! Did
'Cause
it
it-
start from the beginning, the end?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
was like,
remember
for me, it's
the Rick and Morty scene where he's like, yeah, like, I don't think you should start a movie where it gets exciting. I think
Yeah.
you should start from the beginning and tell the story from there.
yeah.
I felt it was kind of lazy, so I was like, oh, like maybe they're just showing like the outcome if you don't solve the puzzle.
Right.
But then you just find out like, oh yeah, it's just him.
Because in the beginning they were hiding his face, not a lot, but like you know.
No,
they're
no,
doing
they show his
certain
face the whole
things.
time. Like
Yeah.
he's
I didn't
full
even
on.
notice.
He just looks like stressed out.
Yeah, yeah, obviously.
Plus, he was
yeah.
Reasonably
also-
so. Like,
He just got done getting drugged.
Yeah.
So then I did something different. Normally I talk about the deleted scenes here on the podcast, but I actually showed them before we came on. So what did you guys think of the deleted scene? Because the deleted scene was
Which was
the-
which one? The opening or the ending?
the
the opening. Since we're talking about the
Oh,
opening.
I didn't like it.
So in the movie, I'm not sure if it was an Italian soccer team.
Spanish.
It was a Spanish soccer team. Okay. They were talking about how they went missing, and then they opened with the first room, the lobby room,
Yeah, the waiting room.
the waiting room, as its alternative scene. Like
Yeah, so basically, the alternate opening to the movie was the
soccer
first
team.
room. The soccer team comes into the room,
Uh-huh.
and they basically kind of they go through the room as it was intended.
Yeah.
So they accidentally start the furnace. They're trying to figure out what's going on. They find the key.
So bad for them.
They open the key. They find out it's like a little Annabelle robot like sitting behind the desk. And then they run out of time and the whole room explodes.
And like the main reason I was like, okay, I'm good with them cutting out the scenes because I felt like they gave away way too much for later scenes, and I think we all agreed on
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
that's true.
because I like the idea of the scene.
that.
If you just had different people doing an escape room and failing,
Yeah.
but I think they should have used an entirely different room, so that way you know what
yeah.
the stakes are, but you're not giving away what's going to happen later in the movie.
I feel like it would have like set up the atmosphere. Like this is what you're gearing yourself into. You know
Yeah.
how I am about that. Like yeah, let's
But
go.
that's kind of what they did with the cold open. So they pretty much like
Yeah, but-
he runs in. He's like, oh, I'm looking for clues. I'm looking for clues. Like it doesn't make sense why he would say that to himself, but for the audience, it's like, oh, okay, he's in an escape room. That's the name of the movie. He's looking for clues and like, oh, this is what happens when you don't solve them in time.
So what did you think of the cold opening then? The original one.
The original one, I liked it.
You liked it?
Well,
I
I
thought it was
mean,
lazy.
I thought
yeah,
it was-
okay, yeah. Now that I think about it, it's like it's all right because I liked it because I didn't notice it was him.
It was a quick substitution for the original opening they had in mind.
I felt like they were trying to gas it up before it started, and for me, I was like, man,
and it fizzled out super quick.
it does. And then
So
like,
it's like, oh, like what's going on? Like he got crushed to death, and then it's like, hey, welcome to Psychology 101 or like whatever it is. She was
oh
studying.
yeah, and that's stupid. The
And you
class.
go
classroom.
through,
Oh,
you
yeah.
go through what is it, three people. You go through Zoe, you go through Ben, and you go through Jason, and you meet them all with like no real context.
Yeah, like rapid fire.
Yeah, and it's like that slowed the movie down almost to a snail's pace.
Well, yeah, but the whole point of it is to like get us to have character development, but it's like I didn't.
But the character development in this movie was done so poorly.
Yeah, I felt like it was like second nature, and that's what we're gonna get into later. Right now.
Yeah. Mhm.
This is where you are gonna come in because, like, right off the bat, was the horror aspect worth it? Like I think, like I said, it was like a small, like Saw reference basically. Is what it
Yeah.
felt like. So was the movie scary? No.
I think there were things that you could find scary in the movie. So for example, if you had any of those close calls that the characters had, it kind of bring a little bit of PTSD.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a great point. Because
So,
it's like,
like-
what's scarier than it's like actual
Yeah, like if you were ever in a house fire,
psychological
Yeah.
terrors. You know what I mean?
if you were ever in a house fire, you might find the first room kind of scary.
If you
were
have
ever,
real trauma and
yeah,
then you watch
if
the
you have real
movie,
trauma, yeah,
Yeah, that's real horror.
yeah, that's real horror. Like if you were ever like stuck in a snowstorm.
I get you. Yeah,
Yeah.
You give credit where credit's due. Like they did a good job of like.
Also, we'll get into it
I
when.
feel like it was fun. That's a thing. Is I feel like it's a fun
It's
movie,
a fun, yeah.
but it's not like. It was a
horror
horror
movie,
movie that
yeah.
I wasn't.
You
I was
know-
at the edge of my seat, but it was fun to watch my brother
Yeah,
watch it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that was-
Yeah,
This wasn't obviously it has nothing to do with anything, but you know what would have been cool instead of
Mm.
like messing with their PTSD is messing with their phobias. Each room, like let's say somebody's arachnophobic,
So change
like
it.
let's say it's like a room where like they had to find a key inside like I don't know,
like a bunch of
a
holes.
pit of like spiders and stuff, or like
no,
or like a
What
bunch
is
of
it
holes
called
or
when you're
something
afraid
like
of
that.
like holes?
Tropophobia.
Yes.
Trypophobia.
Or
So imagine
topophobia?
somebody like one of them had like trypophobia or whatever.
There's a
and,
room
like,
full of holes.
Yeah, and it's like you have to like dig through the holes to find like
Exactly,
the key for the next room.
yeah.
But that's just Saw.
Yeah.
Because
Whoa,
escape,
no.
escape room is like
Whoa.
you need to think of the solution.
No, I know, but Saw is kind of like
Yeah, self mutilation.
self mutilations. This one's more about like messing with you psychologically. You know what I mean?
I mean, no, like the idea of escape room is like you need to figure out the puzzles.
Work together
Oh,
to
yeah,
get
I
out.
guess that's true. Yeah.
Oh,
It
oh,
defeats
and
it.
Speaking of work together to get out, was there? I don't know if you guys thought about it after you saw the movie. Was there any way that all of them could have made it to the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Let me double check.
the the
Yeah.
older guy, the fat
Yeah.
guy.
He got the worst
He
death.
could have made it. Okay.
Yeah.
He could have definitely made
He was
it.
my favorite. Like out
He
of
was
all
my
the characters, I
favorite
think he
too.
was the only like likable one.
And he had the word. He has the stupidest death.
Yeah.
It's like let me just shock you.
There were two stupid deaths.
There were a few stupid.
There were
So-
there were a lot
okay,
of
so,
stupid
like,
deaths.
The smart kid, right? The one who's like, oh, I did like 96 escape
Yeah,
rooms
was
or
his name
whatever.
Dan or something?
Dan.
Oh yeah, the
Danny?
nerdy kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, he just got a bad hand. Like they just decided like, oh, we're gonna blow up the ground right here.
Yeah,
And
like
he just happened to be standing
And
there.
he just drowns.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like,
I thought
did they do that on
The
purpose?
special feature was kind of cool. They actually did ice. They put him like in the ocean, and then they had like a block of like.
They actually killed. They actually killed him for that scene. He hasn't been in a movie since.
No, they're like 1 second I'm like in a room, and the next second I'm in the just underwater 10 feet, and
That's
they're like
cool.
dragging me under. They didn't go into a lot of details, but they showed him like underwater as
That's
everything.
cool. That's cool.
So
That's another thing I like
that's-
about this movie. It's very practical.
So,
Yeah.
was it scary? We'll move on from there. So no, it wasn't scary.
No.
No.
But all right, so now the last thing we're going to talk about is just the film itself, cinematography, writing.
So I was gonna say this.
Go for it.
It's weird seeing a horror movie with a budget.
Yeah, right. But it looks
Yeah.
so clean.
It
Like,
looks. It looks.
You guys
really
want to hear the
nice.
budget?
What's
yeah,
the
it was
budget?
It was 9 million.
All right. Like,
It wasn't
Which
that
is-
crazy or is that
No, I know. No, it's pretty. I mean,
Sizable, right? Is
It's
that a good
it's pretty sizable for what they try to do.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, it's probably like around 15 million, maybe 20 million. It's like, no, it's 9 million. I was like, well, okay, they work with what they got. You know, that's why most of the stuff here was practical.
Yeah, because when I saw the cold open, I was like, okay, like this is
Awesome.
actual stuff, like
Yeah.
moving, like you could feel like the impact of everything. And it's
Yeah,
like,
no,
like,
the-
oh, it's real. Like
It's a cool set, but then I was like, audio threw me off. So
And then you
Yeah,
kind
I
of already
guess so.
spoiled this. So I was gonna ask this question. What was your guys' favorite room?
favorite room was Leo, if you
know
got
this.
it.
You know this.
Yeah, oh
You said it
yeah.
earlier.
Did I?
Yeah.
It's my favorite room too.
Oh yeah, the billiard bar.
The billiard room.
No, the
pool
the
room.
snow room.
The what?
No.
I'm kidding. Yeah, it was definitely the billiard room. It was the most colorful.
It was
the
the
most,
psychedelic.
yeah.
That was
Yeah,
the worst.
I was like, what was
that was the
right
worst
after
room for me.
the snow room?
No,
The snow room looked looked nice though. It looked
It
beautiful.
looked nice. Yeah, it looked really cool.
But that's what I was saying earlier. Was I was curious because I was like, if each room is that complex to solve, this movie's gonna be long as heck.
Yeah.
For 6 rooms that are gonna be in this movie because they say, oh, each room is like custom to us.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, damn. If they each,
But not really.
not really. No, it was
'Cause
like
it's like-
2, like basically.
Like, whose room would it have been? Like the hospital room.
Everybody's
Yeah, but it's like
carbon monoxide poisoning kid, Danny.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But why would it have everyone's
Yeah,
information?
exactly. It was just the whole thing was heart rate, right? Like to
Yeah.
lower. You had to lower your heart rate.
I didn't really understand that because it's like, how do they didn't know that. He
No,
just,
yeah.
He just
He just
kind of like,
guessed.
What
yeah,
was
he
the
just
name of
guessed.
the guy?
Jason.
Jason. He was like,
Also,
how did he
like-
figure it out? He was just like,
no, he just
did it
the
by
tried.
accident.
opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
like,
oh
shut
well,
that
Because the clue was like test your limits.
Yeah, and
Or
then,
something?
and then they shocked Mike, the freaking defibrillated.
the guy
him.
with the heart condition, they
Yeah.
shocked him and
They're like, you got this. Don't be a little bitch.
yeah, just shocked him
And
and
then
like,
what was
exploded his
what
heart.
was your near death thing? He had like a heart attack.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
don't
no,
remember.
yeah.
No, I mean
No,
he died.
like,
I'm
yeah,
saying,
what's it-
what
what was
was
his
Oh no, he was,
PTSD?
no, he was trapped in the mine. The mine collapsed.
Oh,
with it.
right,
The mine
right.
collapsed,
Yeah.
and he
So
heard
what-
his brother dying.
What room would have been
off the-
his?
Oh,
Maybe the drug one?
No, the
Oh, the last room.
the last room. I
Okay.
think so.
Should we tell them what the rooms were in case they didn't watch the movie?
Well, we
Yeah,
kinda
let's
already
let's
did.
go let's go room by
Let's beat
room.
by beat real quick.
Let's go.
So,
Room by room. So first room
Meeting
is the
room.
waiting room,
Yeah.
which turns out to be a giant oven. You have
Right.
to escape.
Fire.
You have to put water on the coaster. Coasters drop, and then you escape.
Hey, you know what? You know what I thought? Were you guys thinking of like alternate
And-
ways to solve it while you guys were watching it?
Spit in the cup. That's, that's
No,
literally
because
what I
like
thought.
the last one, because you know how she gave
Cup of water.
Amanda a cup of water, so they didn't have
Yeah.
enough water in the
That
cup.
was such a stupid
like-
thing, though. Like,
I was like, why didn't they just use like
It's not fair.
the magazines or the books?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just put the
I
cup
guess.
on there,
Big
throw some
brain,
books on
dog.
there.
Big brain.
I was
Put
like,
the
that's
cup,
it.
then
Yeah.
put the book on top. Yeah, I'm not that clever, dog.
Do you notice
That
that every
guy.
single room had
We should do an
some sort of
escape room.
element?
Just to watch me die.
Yeah. Each room had what?
Some sort of like element.
Let me see
surprise
if
to
I
it?
can guess what they were. So it was fire,
The first one was fire.
water,
The first
like
one,
cold, like ice.
Right.
The other one would be gravity.
Gravity.
Last one would be, or what was it after?
Gas.
Gas.
Well-
Yeah, because it was gonna be like a poison.
Yeah.
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 So
That
it
was
would
the
be
one
air.
that came right after the billiard room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be gas.
And then the last one would be
I don't know. Compression.
Get smashed to death.
yeah, just crush you to death.
So the rooms were the meeting room.
The game designers didn't expect anyone to make it that far. So like, just make it squish you.
The cold room, which basically is like a snow room that just gets colder, and they had to get a magnet to fish up the key, then use the key to get out. Then
So
the third,
same thing, right? So after they got the key,
I'm skipping the
were you
cabin part.
were you thinking of any alternative ways that they
Dude,
could
I
have
wasn't
helped
thinking.
you
I was
guys?
just watching a movie.
No, because I was like, get a branch and just start stabbing it.
Oh, as opposed to thonging it out with their
Yeah,
hands.
instead of everyone
Oh,
waiting and trying to
dude.
thaw it out.
They're like,
I
let's
was
all
like-
get frostbite together.
Yeah, like
I know,
get
that
one
was
of the
so
props.
stupid. I was like, there's so many other ways to
Yeah,
melt that
get
stupid
the
ice.
props.
break it.
Yeah, get the fishing rod, get the magnet, and just start smashing it.
Smashing the hell, it's ice, dude.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's just touch it.
Like,
till-
he's like, this is the only way we could solve it. We all gotta
And then
take
they
the
try to-
jacket and touch it with our hands.
They tried to blame Ben for freaking Danny, the
nerdy
nerdy guy
guy.
getting going underwater. They're like, what did you do? He's like, nothing. I threw him the thing. I was being an a-hole, but I wasn't trying to kill him. Like, they're like, oh, one of you guys could be working with them. Yada yada. I was like, well, okay, so I guess they're trying to do the whole turn against each other.
Yeah.
All right, but
yeah,
regardless,
yeah.
third
Which
room
I mean,
was
it fit
what?
the theme. It fit the theme for the
yeah.
Jason character.
Third room was the billiard bar, basically an upside down room. That
Amazing set design.
yeah, and then the
That was like
the
I said,
ceiling was
best
falling-
room.
ceiling was falling out.
The ceiling, which was the floor,
Yes.
was falling underneath them.
It was
Right.
cool, really cool. That was because, like I said, the room was vibrant. Set like
The cinematography in that scene is great because like sometimes the camera would turn like side up with the room, so
Yeah.
it seems like they were upside down at certain points.
yeah, it was literally the opening shot. Like when they first got in the
Right.
room, it was. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Or where like,
Yeah.
the army chick, she jumps like they showed a scene where she jumps like upside down and like it throws you off. You're like, oh my god.
On the special features, they specified that portion specifically was too difficult to have like stuntmen. So they had
So
Yeah,
they
she
just-
did a lot of that.
yeah.
That's awesome.
So they were doing like a lot of rock climbing training. They didn't specify that they were doing it. I just saw them doing it. They didn't really talk too much in the
That's
special
awesome.
pictures, but they trained for it a little bit just so they could hold themselves up and do the stunts.
Yeah,
Amelia,
you get your first unceremonial death on that scene.
yeah.
Which I don't know how she was really planning on going through it.
Monkey
Yeah,
bars.
but like
I don't know,
the,
dude.
the amount of grip shake. So
She was badass.
she was basically yeah. I mean,
She was cool. She was like the
Yeah.
coolest character.
she dated Daredevil. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, Pepper.
Yeah, no, it's Karen.
Yeah, I know.
Karen Page. So she was.
think
I
of
guess she
Iron
was
Man a
just
lot.
gonna grab him and like swing her way through like just by grabbing the ball. Like that's some Ninja Warrior level
Yeah.
stuff.
But she was supposed to be an ex-Marine, right?
Yeah,
And
something
then
like that.
so then the billiard bar room. Then what is this? The fourth room, fifth room,
The fourth room would have been the hospital.
hospital room, which basically just tells us everyone's
Yeah.
backstory. And then the next room is the psychedelic room. Basically, if you touched the whole room is meant to look like thumbprints, like fingerprints, which was kind of cool.
It's
But it just looked
it was
really-
kind of dumb. I
It was
feel like.
no. The design of the room was cool. I thought once they started doing the warp drug aspect of
Yeah.
it, I
That
thought it
was
was stupid.
dumb, yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, all right, it's trying to make you feel like how they're feeling.
But it's still.
I
it was
understand
like-
the purpose. I just
It was kind of lazy because it's like most of that they added in post, and then like they had a platform in the middle of the room that just spun,
yeah,
and
the
that,
whole
that's
time.
that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
So the whole room
Nothing
is
else
Like
That's
in the
imagine if
room.
they
really
didn't
distorted.
touch anything.
Yeah, there's
like-
nothing to that room. It's just they just tripped out and
Yeah, then it was like, hey,
That's
find
it.
the antidote. I was like, well, if you didn't touch anything,
No,
you don't need the antidote.
you only got drugged if you grabbed the bar to turn it.
Oh,
So that was because
and then find the antidote. But then wouldn't you just drug yourself again if you grabbed the bargain?
I guess that's the only room that was like you're screwed if
Yeah.
everyone did it. That's I guess that's the only
Cause
one.
yeah,
you
it's
could
like,
do.
is
one
there any
dude-
way
one dude
everyone can
grabbed
spread
it.
that?
They both grabbed it.
they both grabbed
They
it.
couldn't.
okay.
They couldn't turn it together by themselves. So they did it together.
Got you, yeah.
So that was the room. That's the room that would have killed everybody. And then the last room was
The crushing room
the crushing room. Yeah.
that you see at the beginning of the movie.
And that one again, cool practical. They all had cool practical effects, but like
Yeah.
that's every room. All right, boom.
Hey, so get this. When this movie was released, it was delayed in Poland by like 3 months
Because of what?
because
Violence.
on the day because
They don't
that
like
the
puzzles
week
over there.
the same week where the movie was supposed to release, 5 teenagers died in an escape room fire.
Oh my gosh,
So,
that's horrible.
so yeah, releasing
fun
a
fact.
movie, yeah,
So
it's kind of bad, really bad timing,
the
man.
movie had some great marketing in Poland.
Really
my
bad timing
gosh.
on there, man.
Especially since the opening one is literally fire.
Yeah,
Literally, the opening is just that. Like, it's pretty.
Yeah. Damn, that's sad.
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Bring down the mood, why don't you?
Yeah, what a fun fact. Thanks
God.
for that.
Oh God.
So the main one of the main guys was like Jason, like the salesman or whatever. I don't know if it was the actor's like charisma, but he didn't seem like that big of a dick.
Which one?
The
I'm trying to remember.
the black guy, the car salesman.
Jason?
I don't know if he was a car salesman. He's some
no,
kind of salesman.
he was
right?
like he was some kind of corporate man.
But it was like I don't know if the actor was just like really likable.
yeah, he
Because here's the thing, it's like,
shows
he
me,
was
like,
supposed to be
evil.
he's supposed to be the dick. He's supposed to be like the guy who turns on them.
Yeah.
But he had the most charisma out of everybody.
Yeah, and it was like he would say something
just
that was
like
like,
him?
yeah, there was something that he'd say something like, oh, like he's
Yeah.
being mean to this
My
character.
man was too charming.
Yeah, it was like he's being mean to this character. Like we're not supposed to like him, but I was like, oh, like he's joking around. He's just a silly little guy, you know. And it was only like his backstory where it was kind of like,
All right.
okay, like
My brother was like, "Oh man, I'm too gullible. I really thought his friend just swam out to sea. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was swam. I thought he swam out to sea too. Did you
I
guys?
didn't.
You guys are like, nah, because it was a big reveal that he like murdered his friend in his survivor story.
Right. Yeah.
Did you know? Did you expect that or?
I mean, no, but when I saw it, I was like,
I the only one?
it wasn't
Yeah.
surprised.
I just don't trust people. I guess that's just my whole thing.
No,
was just
because I wasn't expecting it, but at the same time, it's like I
Because
didn't
I liked
really
him.
care.
That's what I was like.
I didn't like him. I was like, okay, that's.
I didn't like him,
expected.
but he was too charming for me to think like, oh, this guy's like a dick. He's
You're
a
talking
bad
about
guy.
the
He's
business
a-
dude, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking
He
about.
was just an asshole, and all his
the whole
lines were
time.
just terrible.
Well, a lot of the lines are terrible.
Go into
Yeah,
that.
a
Go into
lot of
line
lines,
delivery.
yeah.
'cause
Yeah, let's go into scripts.
'cause-
Jesus Christ,
Go
man.
for it, Leo. Like talk
Every
about
single
it.
so every single character had like their stereotypical lines. For example, like the businessman was like obviously like he comes out as a douche, but all his lines were just all like, "See what you did? Like you ruined everything."
Yeah.
Like
He's
don't
like, it's all
touch
about
that.
survival. Like I know what it's like to come from the bottom. Like I'm here at the top now.
Exactly. Like the
Started
nerdy
from the
kid is
bottom
like
now,
extremely
yeah.
nerdy. The business is extremely douchey. Like everybody has some sort of
Oh,
extreme
they fit
to
their
it.
stereotype too well. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that-
They were
and I-
caricatures of like
Exactly.
Oh, the
like-
nerdy girl, Zoe. Like the
Zoe.
main character of the movie. I was like,
Right.
man, she is like.
The army girl, like
So
you can tell she was like to
stereotypical.
herself, and like she's like,
Well, no,
I've
I
been through
thought-
some stuff.
I
and
thought it was
it's
gonna be
So I
revealed that
think-
she
I
was
think
like
it was-
undercover.
it was
I thought she was gonna be a cop when I watched it.
Zoe
uh-huh.
and Jason
Well, I'm listening.
that are caricatures of themselves, and everyone else kind of fell into the background.
Ben was a caricature. Like, Ben was like, I am a drunk and I have trauma. Look at me, be sad.
He was
Yeah,
barely
I
in the
know, but
movie.
he
Well,
still,
he was like,
like,
oh, he. I feel like
it
was the whole
seemed
time for
like
me.
you can
I feel
tell.
like he participated once, and it was because of it led to his backstory.
The Rudolph part.
The Rudolph.
And then
That was
I
dumb.
feel like there was one more because they were like, oh, you can actually do something useful. Maybe it was the Rudolph part where they said that.
Yeah.
No, it seems like you can tell. Like it's like okay, these are actors acting for a role.
Acting the
like
role.
that's
I
what
think,
it felt
I think we
like.
talked
you
about
know?
it a little bit when we saw the movie, or like I was like 20 minutes into the movie, and I was like, oh, like the main character Zoe. I was like, it would make sense if they just showed her doing something smart.
As opposed to making her sound smart all the time.
Yeah, so she does doing Sudoku.
Yeah,
It's like, okay, like
exactly.
I get she's supposed to be the smart character.
I don't
But
know,
when
man.
her friend
dialogue.
goes, yeah, when her friend goes, oh, are you sure you don't want to go with this thing too? He's like, yeah, I'm sure. He's like, oh, but
Yeah.
I saw this really cool lecture on like molecular blah blah blah, and she's like talking, and it's like, okay, we get it, you're a nerd. Like
Yeah.
it's like,
Like
that
we get your character.
that was
Like let's move
too
on.
much.
Let's move on.
She's only her and Ben are the only two people with character development. Really?
Yeah.
Unless you count. What's the army chick's name?
her name was Amanda.
Amanda. Sorry, because I keep thinking of her Daredevil role. Those two are the ones that had the most character development. I thought because they actually have a point where they can change. Ben was.
Oh, where did she change?
She stopped being timid and she was like, "I'm gonna fucking survive."
You're talking about Amanda?
Are you talking about?
No,
I'm talking
I'm
about
talking
Zoe.
about
You're talking about the army girl.
Well, the only part
I
she
don't- I
had
didn't
was
see her really
she was
change.
being a shut-in the whole time, and then all of a sudden she was like a team player. I don't know what converted her, but like
Survival.
survival.
Probably.
No, but she ended up sacrificing herself for the team. I was like, when she was first started, she was like a lone reserve, and then by the end of by her portion, she.
I feel like that's like the Captain America in her, right? Like
just-
jump
In
on the
a way,
grenade
in a way.
for the group.
All right, yeah, fair.
Yeah.
But do you think that was character development, or you think that was just like
I think she would have done it.
regardless?
anyway,
So she was
yeah.
just a badass then.
Yeah.
She was just a badass. All right, fair. She was cool. She was a cool character.
Yeah, like I said, I just felt like everyone fell into the background of the movie, so it was like, it was only Jason and Zoe who like were like super bad caricatures of themselves, and then everyone else didn't really matter to the film other than like to add to the body count.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that
I feel free to
feels like,
disagree,
yeah.
but
I know. I feel like
No,
they-
you're right.
I
It
don't-
feels like it.
I don't think the body count. I think it's like as a stepping stone. I think that's what it was. It was like I need someone to die here so I can get on. Like I feel like that's why that person exists. Like I felt bad for Mike, but like
he was the most likable character.
we were talking about how charismatic the Jason was, but
No, I was saying
He was the most
too-
likable character because
too
he was the only
charismatic.
character
Nah, Amber was
that
be
didn't
evil.
feel like
Amber
an
was
actor.
the coolest character,
Yeah.
so she was my favorite character.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like
Favorite death? I'm curious.
favorite
I'm
death.
just throwing that out there. Favorite like kill of the movie?
They were all pretty bad,
All of them?
all of them.
I'm thinking out about now. I just wanted to sound.
yeah, no,
'Cause,
they're
like,
all pretty bad.
The two that were like that just sucked were Amanda and Mike.
They were either off screen or just really cheap.
Mm.
You want a hamburger?
No, I think I said Amber instead of.
Oh,
I'm thinking about it. What I
Amanda?
said. Amanda. Shit. Oh, well.
Amanda and Mike were like the cheapest kills. Like they were just so unceremonious.
All right, fine. Favorite
But
part.
there wasn't any like
Because
heart wrenching. There wasn't anything like, oh, like I like this kill, or like the way they pulled this off, because they all just kind of happen.
yeah, I get you.
It's like one drowns, one falls.
one gets a heart attack.
Yeah, one gets given a heart
I'd
attack.
I'd say
Yeah.
Amanda's is probably like my favorite one.
One
Just
gets
because it was
strangled.
So, it was
The
so
self-sacrifice.
It was so
helped
jarring.
them-
Like, I was
it
like,
helped
oh,
them
shit.
progress.
Yeah. That one, I think that was my favorite death too because
I think
It had the
her-
most impact.
her
I think
death
that's what it
was-
was.
Yeah.
You felt it. That was the only one you felt
Yeah.
like, oh god.
her death was the only thing that led them forward, where everyone else's death just kind of
and
happened.
he wasn't
Oh,
even
Mike-
she wasn't even
oh,
my
no,
favorite
you're right.
character
Yeah,
either.
Yeah, you're right. All right, so then favorite deaths, and then favorite. What was your favorite room? Same as ours or different?
Yeah, billiard room.
Billiard room.
Least favorite?
Least favorite? I want to say the cold room.
I'd-
Really? That
Because
one was
it's like,
cool.
oh, just hold your
I
hands to warm
How
it
they
up.
solved it was dumb, but I don't think it was.
Yeah.
I don't think the room was the dumbest room. I think the fingerprint room. After discussing it and
Yeah, that
talking
was
about it, yeah, I think that was
the drug room. That
Yeah.
was the stupidest room. Yeah.
I mean, I still think the
aesthetics of it were cool.
no.
and
I
then the
don't like
strobe
aesthetic.
light effect. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, strobe warning if you haven't,
That
Oh
was so
yeah.
stupid.
if you survived watching the movie already. But
Like they just try to make it like oh they're
As
gonna
psychedelic
yeah
as
like
possible.
we're gonna try to make it as psychedelic as possible with like $20. You know, like
here's the thing: add colors.
They had a $9
right?
million budget.
I know, man, but
Add colors to that room. Give one of the characters a drug problem where he like almost died from an OD, and then have that be his room.
It was Ben's room,
His bedroom.
not the Rudolph room. So then I guess well we're about to finish up, but is there any final points you guys want to hit? Something you want to talk about specifically?
maybe the director. Like
Talk about director. Anything he's done?
so the only thing he's really done is he's done you guys ever seen The Taking of Deborah Logan?
I have.
Oh, wait, that's the one with the old lady, right?
Yep.
That movie was good.
So he wrote that and directed that. That was his first movie. That was pretty good.
That was a really good movie.
That was a really
good movie.
horror. I was
The
like,
Yeah.
first scene I saw from that movie was a still, and somebody changed the name, so they called it Gramaconda. Do you know the scene I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I know
Yeah,
the
so
scene.
she's
Yeah,
like
I know
eating,
exactly what
The
you're talking
ending,
about.
yeah.
And for the longest time, I thought Gramaconda was a real movie until I actually like was
Saw
on
it.
Netflix and I saw The Taking of Deborah Logan.
And
That's a
then
possession movie, bro.
his-
Worth checking
his-
out.
His work right after that was he worked as a writer for the Paranormal Activity: The Ghost Dimension, which was the last Paranormal Activity movie.
I never
which
saw
one
it.
of the
it
worst
tanked.
ones.
Yeah, it did pretty much the worst one.
Yeah.
After that, he worked as a director for Insidious: The Last Key, which was one of the
Also
most
one of the worst ones.
not worst,
didn't
but
mind
the
it,
most
but-
mid. You know.
Yeah, I
And
liked
then-
it, but a lot of people hated
It
it.
wasn't for
Yeah,
everyone.
and then after that, he worked on Escape Room, the first one and the second one.
How many sequels are there? Do you
Just
know?
this one.
Just two.
Just one.
Just
one?
one, yeah.
So that were you guys excited for a sequel to this movie?
I saw this
wanted-
movie in theaters, right?
Oh, you saw it in theaters?
I saw it in theaters. Yeah, I know. I saw it in
Okay.
theaters because I was like, I'm going to the movie theaters. I don't know what's on
I don't
right now.
He
remember-
loves movies.
I don't remember getting the invite to that, but it's cool. It's fine.
It was one of those days where I was like,
It's okay. I was busy that day. It's fine.
good. Yeah, I know you're busy. Anyway,
I went and saw it. I'm a broke baby.
no, but when I found out they were making a sequel, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I wonder where they're gonna go with like the escape rooms and like the budget and like how big are they gonna go with this
How
one?
grand.
Right, because like when I saw this for the first time in theaters, I was like, it was cool, but you can tell that they were very limited
Yeah.
to the budget, you know. So I was like, when
couldn't
they,
tell that at all. Everything looked grand to me.
Of
while
course.
watching
Everything
it.
looked great, but there was only like 5 locations.
yeah, like I can
Six.
tell
But
how,
still.
for example,
Barely.
with the fire room, I'm like, they just put LED lights and they made them brighter and brighter to make it seem like it's hot and stuff like that. Like there's certain stuff that they put in where I'm
Oh,
like,
I didn't
yeah,
notice
yeah,
any
yeah,
of
yeah.
that.
They would have been
Yeah,
sweating.
of
No,
course.
I
a
know you
little
would
bit
see it.
more.
I didn't
Yeah.
notice it at all. So
Yeah, like it only takes you just put like LED strips on the roof and on the wall, and there.
no, yeah, get the glow
yeah.
effect.
And
I
they
get
can
what
even
you're
put that
saying.
in
I
post.
understand what
Yeah.
you're saying now, but I
And
didn't
then
think
you
for
put
that
the
when I
ripple
watched it.
effects in post, you know, like, and it's
Yeah,
super
no.
easy. Because if you notice, you did notice that nobody was sweating in that room.
Yeah,
No, I didn't
there were
pay
some
attention to
like
that.
sweat, but I was like, there'd be more.
But
Yeah,
it's
like
a
the water,
PG-13.
I know, but the water was boiling on the table, and there was like they were barely cracking a
it's
sweat. I was like,
it's just like, dude.
yeah, I was
take off
like,
sweater.
I get more
Exactly,
sweat on me walking up the stairs.
I liked the idea that they took off their sweaters because it was so hot, and then they went into that cold room where they had nothing. Like it was a perfect
I
setup.
guess,
Yeah.
I guess.
I know,
so,
I'm
yeah,
just saying when
you're
I was
right.
watching, I like
was-
that.
yeah.
All right, so Mike, if you guys, well, I'll let you guys talk
Well,
more about it.
you want to talk about the alternate ending
I'm gonna
before
lightly
we talk
touch
about
on
the
it.
movie? 'Cause
He also played as an extra in the first X-Men movie.
He
The
looked
director?
familiar.
Yeah, the director.
who's the director?
He
Adam
played an
something?
extra. Like yeah.
Okay,
He was an extra in a deleted scene too.
he was Cyclops.
Oh really?
Yeah, there was a deleted scene where he says hi to Jason, like he's a corporate guy, and he's just like hello, and then I was like, oh, I can see why they took it out because it's just that piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The alternate ending was.
He just really wanted to be in the movie.
Oh, I forgot to mention it earlier. They did all this for $10,000, and they made it sound like it was so much money.
Oh, I know.
I was
yeah.
like,
I was like, I'm pretty sure the business guy already has $10,000.
Yeah. They were like, oh man.
that one doesn't make sense for him to want to go.
For all of them, like maybe
no,
the
'cause, like,
student,
10
maybe
like,
the student and the
$10,000 is a lot, for just solving an escape room.
Right. Like I would join that.
For, like if I was
yeah.
like, hey, do you want to solve some puzzles for
Like,
$10,000?
I guess, but
yeah,
like,
sure.
Yeah.
But they didn't know like, oh hey, like people have died doing this.
Yeah, $10,000
all right,
will
all right,
die.
fair.
You know?
If you think of it from that perspective, I was like, $10,000, really? That's it?
Yeah.
The reason why I bring that up is because when you watch the movie, the original movie, the theatrical release, the original, they just have Ben and her being like, we're gonna go get revenge.
at the very
At
end.
the very end of the movie, they're like, we're gonna go get revenge.
So I think there's 2 endings. There was, hey, Do you think this movie is gonna make us a lot of money where we can make a sequel?
Uh-huh.
And there's the hey,
It's a horror movie
I don't think
sequel?
I don't think it's gonna do that well. Let's have this ending just so we can wrap it up.
So the original ending is they're like, we're gonna go get revenge, and then the scary business people that are doing the escape rooms are like, let's make a test plane crashing and see if
Right.
we're gonna destroy them at the plane crashing. The alternate ending is she figures out another riddle in her dorm, and then she gets her $10,000, tears up the check, and then it's like a Saw-esque computer thing comes up and is like, hey, want to play a game? Like,
Yeah.
and then the game ends. Like,
What did you guys think of the Dr. Wu Tan Yu?
I don't know. That was
I-
kind of dumb because it's
whatever.
like, was he a real person?
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't.
It was
Yeah,
an
exactly.
anagram.
Oh yeah,
No
that's
Way Out.
right. No way out.
That's what. Okay, yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember it being something that I was like, okay.
I know. I remember I saw that. I was like, that's stupid.
I didn't think about it. I was just
That's
like,
so
cool.
On top of that,
Did you think it was realistic that they would leave, call the police, and come back and everything was gone?
For them being like the prep people they were, I figured they had some kind of like. I thought the building would have burned down. I didn't think it would all be trash, like it was a Candyman room. Like,
yeah, it
that
didn't make
threw
any
me off.
sense. It didn't make any sense how it's like they just
Like again, it's like, oh, we have money, but it's like, yeah, but do you have time?
So then-
exactly.
That-
Like it's like they got the money, sure, but it's like, where did they get the time to just like get everything out, leave no clues? Like they had an entire like,
Yeah.
It's not just that they
entire
didn't have
frozen
no
room.
clues.
yeah.
It's that they had time to get rid of everything and then leave another clue.
Like I said,
Exactly,
it's like a
dude.
PG-13. Like it's just
It's
just meant to
fine,
for like
yeah.
I feel like kids. Like if I were a teenager, I'd probably be like, oh, this is a cool movie.
If this movie would have been rated R, it would have been a great competition to Saw.
For us, yeah. But
No, it would be.
the movie would have been better if it was gore. That's how I would have
I,
felt.
I don't know where you would put the gore in though.
Let me
The
see.
fire room, like let them get boils if they get too close to the thing. The freezing room, let them get like frostbite in their fingers and stuff.
Yeah, but we weren't. I feel like were we the target demographic? Like not
No,
really.
definitely not.
It's like teen. This movie made me think of like Divergent. It made me think of
Divergent, dude.
Hunger
what?
Games. No, where
I got
the
Hunger Games
deaths and
vibes.
everything are like it's like a teen movie, and every death has to be off screen, has to be slightly shifted so you don't see it. I was like, all right, whatever. But for what it is, I feel for it. The last thing I want to close this episode out on is, did you have a favorite scene in this movie? Because there's one line of dialogue I did not talk about, and it's my favorite scene of the movie.
Which one is it?
Is where he's at the very end when Ben technically wins the whole thing. At that point, you think Zoe's dead. You know she's not dead, but you think she's dead.
When you're done with this, I have a nitpick.
Go for it. But right after, it's that line where he's like, "Do they give the horses a prize?"
Oh, I love
I
that.
was
Yeah,
like,
dude.
And then he chokes him out. I was like, that was fucking, that was
good.
sick.
Where he's all like, when people bet on horses, who wins the prize? You
Not
or
the
the
horses.
horse? Yeah, not the horses. And he just
And then
chokes him out.
and then
And I was
like the
like,
way the way he
wow.
gets him off the couch is like off the ground. Like that, I felt that. And
That's the only great line. in
that
the
was my
entire
favorite
movie.
scene in the movie. It was
Yeah.
like the last.
If they ended it there, do you think that would have been a better ending?
No.
Nah, because the movie, because we kind of knew that Zoe might be alive because she's like, she's like, we're not gonna. What did she say? She referenced the things she liked. She was
Yeah.
like,
So pretty much,
that was the only foreshadowing. I
yeah,
saw.
stuff can't change if it's not being viewed.
Yeah, but she was
Right.
talking about the lecture she wanted to learn on
Yeah.
her day off. She's like, oh, we're just
So-
part of the thing.
So one part that like I really hated in the movie
Go for it,
took
go
place
for it.
right after that.
Your favorite
Where-
part is your most hated part.
Yeah, let's not. So she's choking Ben out, and then the screen changes and it's like now playing, and it shows Zoe, and then she I guess somehow took a photo of both of them.
Which scene is this?
Oh,
You know what I'm
yeah,
talking
I
about,
remember,
right?
Yeah.
So he's choking him out.
Who's?
And-
oh yeah.
And then the screen changes.
oh, the
behind
screen
him.
changes and
Yeah,
he gets
it's
added
like-
to it.
yeah, he gets
added
I was
to it.
like, okay,
so
so who's-
she took time. She sees he's being choked.
Who's in
She
charge
takes a
of
picture
this?
of him, and she adds him to the
She
now
was
playing.
He was always a factor in this.
Or
Yeah,
maybe,
and then-
or maybe check this out. That other deleted scene that we saw, would have made sense then?
For
Because
what?
remember when she meets that one lady in the control room?
Oh, the technician. or
Yeah, the
something.
technician.
Yeah,
It's
the
like
technician
that, I
and
feel
Zoe.
like that would have made sense because like she was already in the tech room when that thing was happening.
But like,
so-
why would you be like, yeah, like time for my big reveal?
No, I
Holy
thought.
shit.
I didn't think she did it. I thought. What?
Is that a-
Oh yeah, maybe. I'll talk about it later. The what is it? What were we talking about?
I
crap.
don't know. I'm really distracted.
No. Shit, I want to cut. So let's keep it going. Talk about your favorite scene. Go.
My favorite scene is the billiard room.
Billiard room.
Yeah.
That's
What
just
about
it, the whole
specifically?
scene? Like,
No, well, no,
her
it's
death or they're
no,
consoling
it's
it?
like that whole thing where they're just switching the room back and forth, like.
Just how it was shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so
No,
the
it's just like-
cinematography and everything, the scene itself.
Like I said, it's like the room like switches.
The perspective.
The perspective.
From
yeah.
what it's supposed to look like versus like what they're actually seeing.
Yeah. Exactly. It's
Yeah.
not bad.
Oh, I remember what it was. I didn't think Zoe's the one who switched it. I thought it was the people who were like the puppeteers, the ventriloquists, the people who are like behind the scenes. I thought they were like, oh, you're fucking.
They're the guy who he pays their bills and like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we
Just,
like,
let's
fix
just add
this?
that in.
I guess.
But that's it. That's the
I like to
movie.
think she did it. I like to think she took her time.
To like set it up,
Yeah.
coming like a badass, and then
Yeah.
doesn't she like get choked out and then Ben ends up? No, she ends up shooting him, right? Who kills the old man?
I think Ben shoots him.
Okay, yeah. So
Ultimately.
she failed at that.
Yeah.
I thought she shot him.
I don't remember
I
anymore.
don't remember.
I just remember. I just enjoyed
It's
the
been
last
like
part.
2 weeks since we saw the movie.
Oh
I
no,
don't-
no.
Yeah, about.
She hits him, and then he gets a grip on her, and then Ben shoots him. Like
And
it
she's
goes,
like, is
it
he
goes
dead?
back
And
and
then she
forth.
just like shoots him like 3 more times.
Yeah, it goes back and forth for a while.
That's it. That's the movie.
Yeah.
Hope you liked it.
Was
If
it
you
worth
did watch it?
No, not
It was,
really.
it was worth it a
I
little
want to watch
bit.
the sequel. I don't think it was not worth it.
I want to watch the sequel too. It has a bigger budget.
Yeah.
The budget for the sequel is 32 million.
It's,
So they.
we'll have to figure out where we're gonna watch it for free if we can, or on the buying it.
Well,
Like,
we gotta
I
find a
don't know.
Blu-ray somewhere.
I don't know.
I'll probably end up buying a Blu-ray and
And then we'll have to come over here and watch
share
it.
it. Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to spend time with me.
No, it's
No,
kind of a
just to
chore.
watch it.
We'll just do a different episode. It's fine.
Yeah. We
All
might
right.
hire somebody else.
Any closing thoughts? We're all good.
That's it.
That's it, man.
All right. Thank you
sweet.
for watching.
Okay.
Thank you
slash
so
listening.
much. Like and
course.
subscribe. Appreciate your
Okay,
souls.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.